Hello everyone. Welcome back. I know it's been a while, but I'm very glad to be back doing another Magic the Gathering Commander review video. And before I get too far into this, two things. One, so sorry that it has been so long since I have recorded a video and, of course, uploaded a video for you guys to watch. Between work being crazy and me getting sick on and off very frequently, it was very rough to get back into making videos for you guys. But I am glad to say that I am back, and I'm excited to be making these videos for you guys. The second thing was a little while back now, by the time I'm recording this, there was a comment I read. A little harsh, I'll admit, but it made a good point, and the comment was about one of my set review videos that I always do at the end of every individual card review for the set. And the synopsis of the comment was the set review didn't really have any information in it, and so I just kind of talked nonchalant about how my tier list for each set works. And it got me thinking about it, and I was like, you know, that's a pretty good point. Because I don't know if I was completely clear about how I wanted the tier lists to be as part of this series of making videos. So I took a little bit of time to think that over and like how I would change that to make that work and be more useful as far as why I'm making these videos. And I'll get to that in a little bit at the end, but I did make a little change in how that's working. So let's get right on into it, and I'll show you what I did. Today we are starting the Invasion set of Magic the Gathering, and I don't remember if this is crossing the threshold of the year 2000. I don't think it is. I think the last set was. But if this is the threshold of the year 2000, as far as cards go, then this is pretty cool that we're now in that threshold. But today we're going to be talking about Atalya Samite Master, which is a legendary cleric human. And I forgot to pull up my little reference list. Oh, it's got to update. Anyway, I'm pretty sure this is a cleric human. It's a 2/3. It costs 3 generic mana and 2 white mana, and it has this cool activated ability, and I'll just read what you guys see on the card here. For X and tap Atalya, choose 1. Prevent the next X damage that will be dealt to target creature this turn, or you gain X life. Spend only white mana this way. Which works great in a mono white deck if you build Atalya as your commander, because you're going to have tons of white mana to put into this ability. As far as the card rulings go, the two noteworthy ones, of course the only two that apply to this card, are cost modifiers which add a cost are not restricted to only white mana. If there's an ability that says activated abilities cost 1 colorless more mana, then you can spend any color mana to still activate the ability. And my list is almost ready. The second ability here is figuring out how to use my phone. There we go. Spending only white mana applies to the ability regardless of which mode you choose. I guess back in the day, because it was on the second half of that option, a lot of people thought only the gain life mode was part of the white mana, I guess. But it does apply to both. No matter preventing damage or gaining life, only white mana can be spent to use the ability. A card to synergize with Atalya is Alenda's Hierophant. I think it's Hierophant. And of course, whenever you do gain life, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on Alenda's Hierophant, and then when it dies, you get that many vampires equal to its power, which is really cool. Especially even if you do small incremental life gain effects, work really good with this card. And speaking of life gain, the deck that I am going to be building for this commander is a life gain deck, taking advantage of that, drawing cards with it, making my creatures bigger, and filling the board with a ton of creatures. A popular EDH rec deck idea, it kind of falls under the cleric tribe aspect, as well as more generic life gain stuff, but aside from that, really it's just focusing on cleric tribal. And then lastly, a unique take or janky deck idea that I tried to think of. This would be kind of difficult to build right now, but hopefully we would get more pieces in the future. The theme is like Pillow Fort-esque, which is very popular in White, but the way that you actually win the game is you're trying to use cards that benefit you as long as you're not taking damage. So Luminarch Ascension will let you make angel tokens because you're going to be accruing counters on this enchantment every time you don't take damage. There are plenty of artifacts that will change control based on if you take combat damage from another player and then they get that artifact. But as long as you get to keep that artifact, then you're going to be able to accrue the most value with these usually cheaper artifacts because of that downside. And then lastly, the initiative is a mechanic from the D&D set. I think it's pretty cool. It's like having Monarch or something like that, which you could also put in this deck. And other ways of like accruing value by building this Pillow Fort style theme. And of course this deck, why I put it with Atalya, is Atalya has a way of preventing damage, so you can use her ability to protect you and your creatures when you're being attacked. And that is gonna do it for Atalya. Now, you'll notice on this page that I have added its grade that will be added onto the tier list of the set review. So what I'm going to be doing in the future from here on out, and I'll explain more of this in the tier video when I do the Invasion set review, is re-emphasize the purpose of these videos. The main information and meat of these videos will always be the individual card reviews, because in these review videos I'll talk about what the card does, the rules of the card so you know how to play with it and use it properly, and then some, of course, deck ideas of how you can or might play with this commander. And that's why I wanted to make these videos to begin with. So to kind of re-emphasis on that, the tier list and the set review, those videos that I do for this series are more of a overlook of all the previous videos I've recorded. So I do apologize if you guys were expecting more with the tier list reviews, but I like the fact that the tier list reviews are simple, they're short, and really they do show the scope of all these individual videos that I've made. And that was the purpose of the tier list review. If you want to see the real meat of each of these videos, it's in the individual card reviews, and that's why I wanted to make this series. So I'll go over that again more in the tier list review video, which will make a lot more sense. But as far as Atalya Samite Master is concerned, it is a cool source of repeatable protection and of course repeatable healing and life gain. The restrictive cost of white mana only is kind of a small price you have to pay, especially if you play Atalya as your commander, because if you do play Atalya, you're going to be in a mono white deck anyway. So it is restrictive, but it's not that bad. My biggest complaint with this card is not even that it's restrictive, but it's like one-time use. It requires a tap ability, so if you're trying to do some weird combo shenanigans, you're going to need untap mechanics, which are going to mostly be in artifacts for this deck. So it's not as explosive as as some other commanders are. However, with that said, very cool. Love the life gain. And to now focus on the D rank that I gave this card, that is because there's just not a lot of decks built around this commander right now. It's been a while since I initially made these slides before I got sick, but I definitely remember this card. It's cool. It's got a very powerful theme that you can build around. Life gain is one of Mono White's strongest fields to build in. However, that's really it. That's what it does, is it builds life and it protects your life. And outside of that, it's a little difficult to like find the inspiration or use it for certain decks when there are better commanders that do those other things. Birds, angels, pillow fort, super friends, you name a mono white deck theme, and there are plenty of other commanders that do the job better than Atalya, unfortunately. However, I think you should be able to play with this commander and have a lot of fun. I think it's really cool. And as far as like the life gain decks go, it's not the strongest, but it is also interesting. And so you can have some interesting interactions at the table with your friends. And that's what this game is all about, in my opinion. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you have any insights to anything I missed, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!